In this video, Dawn from The Minimal Mom and I chat about moving and minimalism. Welcome to my channel. My name is Erica Lucas and I share videos every week about living with less and minimalism. I am so excited to partner with Dawn on this channel today. Dawn shares tips and tricks to simplify and declutter quickly over on her channel. Dawn, welcome and thank you for joining me.
This is so fun. This is awesome.
Those of you who are watching that do not know Dawn, she is a woman who wears many, many hats. She is a mom. She's a mom, a wife, a YouTuber. She's a sister, a daughter. She's a real estate agent, and she is a minimalist.
Yeah, I think you covered it all.
On your channel recently, you and Tom have been sharing so many home improvement projects, plus your camper makeover. Just a couple days ago, you asked your channel which $500 project you guys should do next. I smiled the whole time while I was watching that video.
Thank you.
It was so fun to watch you guys go back and forth. As a real estate agent, what would you say are the projects to focus on that would improve the value of a home?
Yeah, that's a great question, Erica. So it's always looking at the surfaces, so your floor coverings and your wall paint. So especially if you have a limited budget, most people can afford to do fresh paint. And then if you can take it a step further and put in new carpet or new vinyl plank flooring, people are gonna walk in and your house is gonna feel new just because you've basically updated like 90% of the surfaces in there, right? And you know what it feels like to walk into a house that's freshly painted, has fresh flooring. You don't feel like you're, you don't have the previous owner's like yuck in there anymore. I guess, you know, it feels fresh and it feels clean, and buyers love that. And I know sometimes people, you know, it depends on the climate. You're in a northern climate where we are too. So if there's already carpet, just replace it with carpet. If there's already linoleum, update the linoleum. If you can go a level higher and do some vinyl plank flooring, that's really popular right now, and that'll make a huge difference too. But if not, at a minimum, paint the walls in a very neutral, light gray color. And everyone says, but I don't want my house to be gray and look like everyone else's, right? But it's not your house anymore. And as soon as you are preparing your house to sell, it's not your house anymore. And you have to just be excited about where you're moving to and let go of your style and your tastes and just make it appeal to as many buyers as possible.
Yeah, that's a really great point. It's not your house anymore. So if you you think about it from the perspective of what you would want to see when you walked into the house to buy it, what changes would you make?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I'm thinking about now as we prepare to sell our house. We have this carpet in the family room and dining room, but we have the original hardwood floors underneath. And I might go with that.
Yeah, if they're in good shape, I mean, a lot of people find value in hardwood floors. So if you can pull up the carpet and have to do minimal work to have them look nice, I think that would be a great idea.
I might not want to move though.
Yeah. Well, there's always that, yeah. And I know, Erica, you're gonna do the bulk of moving out before you would list it, right? You're gonna kind of be out of the house.
Yes.
And so you'll already have depersonalized it then, most likely. And I think there's a little bit of misunderstanding of why your realtor is gonna ask you to depersonalize your house. And it's not because your wedding photos aren't beautiful or you don't have like super cute family pictures that you spent a lot of money on and you want everybody to see. It's because what happens is, and we get to observe this when we go through houses with buyers. We've been through thousands of houses, right, with buyers now. And so this is what we observe. When somebody walks into a house, a buyer walks into your house, and you have these beautiful pictures of your family on the wall, they get distracted and they start thinking like, oh, is he on the same t-ball team as Johnny? And they look at the wedding pictures like, I think they got married where your cousin got married. And their conversation goes to the current homeowners and not to, oh, I wonder if our couch would fit in here. Oh, I wonder if, you know, what if we did this over here? and they also feel like they're in someone else's house and they rush through. So they're kind of like, oh, they have young kids, I bet they want to get back home. And so they're like, let's just look at it really quick and get through. And that's not what you want, right? If you have buyers coming to your house, you want them to linger. You want them to think about where is their couch gonna go and what color would they paint the walls. Not like, oh shoot, we better get through quick because we're imposing on them by being in their house right now.
Yeah, they want to be able to visualize themselves living there, and the more they can do that, the longer they're going to linger. That's a great point.
So it's not personal if your realtor asks you to do some of these things. It's not saying they don't like your wall color. It's not saying they don't like your family pictures. It's saying we want to appeal to the broadest range of buyers possible, and from our professional experience, this is how we do it. And of course, I forgot to say, this is meant to be general advice. Always check with a local real estate professional in your area to talk about specific nuances. So that's my disclaimer.
I'm actually talking to Dawn today from a beach house in Virginia. The things that you see behind me are not our things, but you can see that it's very sparse. They just have the couch and a plant and a table and a rug here. And so, you know, when we come in here, we can relax and we can just be ourselves. We are not distracted by pictures on the wall or anything like that. I experienced that just on a vacation home. So that would definitely translate into selling a home as well.
Yeah, and take out any big furniture. You'll have a lot of your furniture simplified, so take out any big pieces of furniture because you're gonna move them anyway. So even if you just move them out to the garage, it'll make your house feel so much bigger and more open. So really just have very minimal furniture so you get the idea of what the room's used for, but not anything extra.
So when you're talking about big furniture, what are ways that people can lighten their load when they move?
Well, and it also leads into the question of what's worth moving and not, right? And I think what the mistake we see a lot of buyers do is they move all of this big heavy furniture because they don't know if they're gonna want it in their new house or not. And so I would say unless you are 100% positive that you're gonna use it on the other end, part with it now. Sell it on Facebook Marketplace now. Somehow get rid of it now, knowing that it is so easy to reacquire stuff and furniture and all those things, because when you get to your new destination, you can go on Facebook Marketplace and rebuy anything that's gonna fit your new space, because furniture doesn't always translate to a new space well, right? And so be 100% positive that you're gonna use it in the other space.
No, I've moved 9 times over the last 10 years.
Wow.
And I still have not figured it out. It is still super stressful. And I think this coming move for us in 6-8 weeks is actually going to be the least stressful of all of them, because I have managed to purge us of so many things that we really are moving what we want to have in the new place, and then we're going to deal with everything that's left behind once it's left behind.
That's awesome.
What do you think are ways that people can manage the stress of moving? I mean, research has shown that moving is actually more stressful than a divorce.
Yeah.
That it brings out so many stressful feelings and emotions that, you know, as a real estate agent, I am sure you have seen all of these things. So what would be your advice to de-stress through a move?
Yeah, I've often said that I think there should be a support group for couples going through a move, because it is rough on our relationship, and if you're doing it on your own, it's even harder. And so the first thing is you have to have grace for yourself. You have to, just budget for the fact that you're not gonna be cooking, right? Or not as much. Like, you're probably gonna be eating out or ordering pizza more often than you would like, but just plan for that, right? Because it is stressful. And I couldn't believe so we did the bulk of our simplifying when we lived in a townhouse. And so we went from moving from a townhouse to my parents' basement before we moved to this house. And I was like, we've gotten rid of 80% of our stuff. Like, this move is gonna be a breeze, right? And it was easier than our previous moves, But at the end of the day, you still have a lot of stuff, right? Like we just still have all of our day-to-day stuff, and it was still down to the wire of getting everything moved out, getting the house cleaned before the final walkthrough and before the buyers were taking possession. And I realized that it is super helpful to simplify your stuff on this end and not to move it and expect to deal with it later, which I'm so glad that that's what you guys are doing. But you have to have grace for yourself and just go into it, understanding that it's going to be stressful, finding people to watch the kids, asking people to bring meals if you have friends and family like that you can count on, and just rely on your support network and ask for help and understand that it's really stressful.
And don't expect it to not be stressful.
I think that's probably it. I mean, we've seen hundreds of moves now, and it's just, and it always takes more space than you think. Like the U-Haul's never big enough, the pod's never big enough. Like inevitably, like the backs of cars are getting shoved with stuff, and we're bringing stuff, and you know, it's just how it goes. Like it just happens. So you're not bad or wrong if that's been your experience. That's the thing to be so sober about, like as you're packing, because I mean, we were just at a house and the people were moving from Minnesota to Arizona, and they were paying movers to transport their stuff. So that's a cost, right? It's different if you're moving down the street and you're just taking carloads, right? And the gal, she's like, I'm just so tired. She's like, I'm just throwing stuff in boxes now and I'll deal with it in Arizona. And I was like, I understand that, but if at all possible, deal with stuff on this end where you're living now, because we all know how it goes. The boxes sit there in the garage for years, you feel guilty about it, and really just set the amount you're gonna move. Like we're moving 1 U-Haul or we're moving 2 pods or whatever it is, and only keep what fits in there, and use that as your boundaries, and then everything else needs to go on this side. Understanding you can reaccumulate that stuff super easily when you get to where you're going.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that it's actually easier to reacquire it at a new place than it is to move it.
Yeah, and especially if the things are like $20 or less, why would you pay to store it or to move it, right? I mean, financially it doesn't even make sense, so.
Yeah, you know, I like to think that we're gonna take about half of the things that we own now, and that's my visual expectation, but maybe once we start actually boxing things up and the movers box things up, it's gonna be a different story. And I definitely wanna do more work on this side of the move rather than after all the things are there, and then I have to figure out, okay, I've already moved it, now do I wanna keep it? Am I gonna let go of it? It's like a new opportunity. It's
a fresh start.
A fresh start.
You're gonna get there and just only have what you need.
Dawn, thank you so much. Is there anything that you'd like to tell us about your channel?
Oh, I think you summed it up well. We love you know, just sharing our best tips and tricks. And my only regret, Erica, is probably that I didn't start my channel when I was actually decluttering my house, and that it's more hindsight now. But I just love how you've been sharing, going through your attic, going through your homeschooling stuff. I mean, it's just so real and it's so relatable, and so I'm grateful that you're sharing that journey.
Oh, thank you, Dawn. Yeah, Dawn's channel, you guys, was one of the first channels that I came to when I started understanding what decluttering even meant and minimalism. And she's an awesome, incredible authority in the space. If you don't know her, which I can't imagine you're watching my channel and not know Dawn, but if you don't know her, please hop over and see her videos. She also has a private Facebook group that you can join, and you can get extra special personalized support, which so many of us really truly need when we're decluttering, because there's a lot of emotions that come up. There's a lot of questions about how to logistically get rid of things. You'll find my links below for you to subscribe, and I post videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays about living with less and minimalism. Thank you for watching.